All right, good morning and welcome back to Twin Stick Garage. Looking good, LBL, looking good. So I still need to get that old Vevor polisher out and spin off all that paint, but that paint stripper actually worked pretty decent. I mean, still needs to, see a lot of it still needs to come off of there, but like I say, I think that polisher will just knock all the rest of it off. And I was actually trying to figure out, because I don't know the history on this 359 Pete beyond from when I bought it from Sean. He picked it up at a Ritchie Brothers auction in the mid-90s in just outside of Edmonton. So when the paint remover is done, he's revealed a bit of the logo there. It looks like it starts with a W, W-I-L something, and then it said Holdings on the other side underneath. So if anyone knows what that logo is, I'd love to know the history on this truck. So if you recognize it, please hit me up in a comment down below. I'm really curious, like I say, what the history is on this truck. So I'm not working on the Pete today as much as I'd like to. I'm actually going to, because I've realized I've done the math, and I know I've been doing a lot of work on Snowman, but the show is only a few months away. And I've realized that I'm probably not going to get the Pete here. I mean, realistically, maybe if I didn't have a day job and I worked on these trucks every day of the week, I could get them all done in a few months. But since I only work on Saturdays, I'm doing the math backwards from the September Let's Go truck show, and I want to get this truck there. I've got to make sure I've got this truck and the trailer ready to go. So I know a lot of people probably want to see more LBL episodes. I know the patrons want to see more Duke episodes, but I've got to get this Kenworth and trailer complete for the show, because I've kind of committed to it, and I know I'd let a lot of people down if I didn't get it ready. So today is going to be the episode where I do a bunch of little things on the truck, and then I'm going to go around. I've actually got my friend Blake from Flyweld Fabricate. He dropped some gear off. He dropped off his TIG welder. He's going to be doing some welding on the exhaust, on the intake. If you want to see him doing that, go check out his channel. Like I say, Flyweld Fabricate. That's going to be on an upcoming episode. So while he's working on that, I'll check in with him, but I'm going to be working on Snowman and working on the trailer, and maybe even do a little bit of an update on the Trans Am. So with that, we'll get at her. My shop is just getting starting to close in on me. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup and start putting some stuff away before Blake gets here. So at least we can walk around and get some work done. So when you start running out of bench space, you just go down to Princess Auto and get yourself some work shelves. And then you can fill up all those with even more junk. But it does help to get your workbench back. So I'll build a few of these and then try and get some workbench space, and then I'll show you some of the cool stuff that people have been sending me. All right. Getting a little better organized. I find that if I actually put my stuff away and organize it, my work goes a little more efficient. So I figure, why not set up one of these benches and put away some of the stuff that I've been collecting from Princess Auto. You know, it's funny because Princess Auto, every time I go there, I go to get one or two things, and I end up walking out with like 6 bags of stuff. Oh well, it'll all get used eventually. Alright, so Blake's already showing up and he's already got some work going there, so I'll stop and check in with him when he gets going on the welding, because man, that's going to be some custom stuff. Can't wait. So I was just watching Blake polish up this Lyle's stainless pipe. So show an example, Blake, of what you start with.
So they send off this material, and it, you know what, it's nice and clean. I'll give it that. But there's a mill scale on it, there for production.
Yeah. Oh man, night and day.
I'm just dressing it up. We're for show, right? So take an extra 10 minutes.
Oh, that's beauty.
Much better results with it. And it's a simple setup. It's a just a variable speed angle grinder.
Yep.
And you can get these drums from Walter. It's like an inflatable drum with a red or maroon Scotch-Brite drum on it.
Also, it's a Scotch-Brite on there.
Yep.
Slick.
Yeah, and just turn it on. Squint.
Squint for safety. Perfect. Oh, that's awesome, Blake. And thanks again to Lyles for providing this awesome stainless pipe. It's going to make a real beautiful job.
Yeah.
Take a quick peek in there. Coming along. Okay, finally got the shop clean. I don't know, man. If you let your shop get ahead of you, it takes a long time to put everything away. I found tools that I completely forgot that I had. So now I'm nice and organized, ready to hit it again. And I wanted to give everyone kind of an update on what's going on here. I've been getting a bunch of mail, so I wanted to open up some mail. And the first one, I wanted to see what I got here. So I was looking around on eBay. Of course, now that I got the Trans Am, we need the, because Mrs. Twin Sticks was asking, she goes, well, when I'm leading in front of the truck, will I be able to talk to you on the CB? And I said, you will. Check this out. Well, that's good. They didn't want it to get wrecked, I guess. Oh, but it's going to be worth it when I finally get to the bottom here. Don't drop it, Mark. Oh man, look at that. So that is a Pace CB166, an exact replica of the one, well, an exact copy of the one that was used in the movie. It's in really good shape. I don't know what this silly thing on top here is. So what I'm planning to do, let's take that off. What I'm planning to do is I'm going to send this down just like I did with the Pace CB145 in the Snowman truck. I'm going to send this down to B&C CB Radios in West Virginia. And those guys will give it the once over and make sure that it is tip top and then send it back, and then I'll go ahead and mount it in the car. But then of course, I got to do the movie correct thing, because once you start down this path, you gotta make it right. So I started looking for the, all right, we'll just clean that up later. I started looking for the movie correct CB antenna, and I found one guy on eBay. He actually had the radio and the antenna as a kit, and I think he wanted like $1,500 for it US. It was a crazy amount of money. And I said, well, would you be willing to sell just the CB antenna? Because I think it was actually still in the package, so it's still new, so it'd be perfect. And he goes, yeah, I would, $950. And I went, $950 just for a CB antenna? So basically you buy the CB antenna, you get the CB for free. And he kind of laughed, he said, yep, that's my price. So I decided to keep looking, and then I was mucking around on eBay, and I found a lot of old CB antennas. And I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, bent antennas and just broken ends. And I thought, I think the starting bid was $100. And I thought, who would be crazy enough to spend money on that? But then I looked a little closer, and this was sitting in the pile. You know what that is? That is a movie correct CB antenna. I think it's actually, antenna is the brand. I forget the model number of it, but that is perfect. Now, of course, that still needs to be refurbished because the cable looks a little old and it's rusty, and this is supposed to be gray, and I should probably polish this up. But let me just show you what this thing's gonna look like on the car. All right, show them the cash. Go ahead, little. Oh, look at that beauty. So right at the part where they reveal the Trans Am, Burt Reynolds is kind of sitting there, and they're debating what they're going to do with the channels, because of course, you know, them Smokies, they got them CBs in their cars now. So if you look closely, it was actually mounted. It was, they drilled it through there and it was actually mounted right about something like that.
21 is 19.
21. That's all right. If I say go to channel 6, forget it. We go to 3.
I don't go to 6. I go to 3.
So I'll have to drill a hole and bolt that in there, but that's okay because the headliner still needs to be redone, and of course the whole interior needs to be converted to black. But I'm pretty tickled that I found the movie correct antenna with a lot of other bent antennas. Man, that truck's looking good. Coming along. Okay, let's see what else we got in the mailbag. Okay, I guess I'll have to bundle that up to send it to BNC Radios. Well, that must be the mic. Yeah, cool. All right, so I mentioned in an earlier snowman video where I was driving around and I said I got to replace the buttons. So this would be the episode I'm going to do that. Now this is pretty easy to do. Of course, a lot of these parking brake and trailer air supplies are twist-on. They're threaded. And the old school ones actually have roll pins that go through there. So I couldn't actually find them online, so I went to Lesco, and of course Tina's like, oh yeah, we got those right here. So I picked those up at Lesco. I'll mount those on there. I went and got a couple of new switches, toggle switches. You know what that's for. It must be a bad switch. Oh! We'll be testing that out later. Oh yeah, so these guys actually sponsored me. They reached out and said, would you be interested in a keyless keypad entry? So of course in my shop I got to put the key in every morning and disarm the alarm, but sometimes I don't always have my keys in my pocket. So I thought, yeah, if you've got some kind of wireless deal, or not wireless, what am I saying? A keypad with a number that you could punch in. And they said, well, we got one better than that. We've actually got one that can, so you got the keypad, so I'll set up a code for the shop, and no, I'm not going to tell you. But they've also got a thumb pad, so a fingerprint deal there. So I got a special thing that's going to cut a hole in the door, so I'll do that and then set these up, and then I can just use my thumbprint to get into the shop. So that is going to be quite the fancy setup for this old shop. Darren in Wisconsin, he sent me something. Oh, I love opening the mail. If you ever want to send Twin Sticks something, I appreciate everything that gets sent to me. Always cut toward yourself, Mark. And if you look in the description down below of the video, of all my videos, I've got the P.O. box that you can send stuff to me. Okay. Oh, look at that! Class Peterbilt. Do a little zoom in there. Isn't that nice? I had this very same belt buckle in high school, and I still have it today. It's all dinged up. I used to wear it when I was trucking back in college, and it never had the nice blue in there. So I don't know if he added that or it came like that, but I mean it matches the blue Peterbilt, so that is awesome. So thanks so much for that, Darren. That is a beautiful gift. What else do we got here? This is from Jesus in Fort Worth, Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth. Oh, that's Busted Mule. Yeah, they reached out to me on Instagram. Said they were going to send me a hat. A hat, and I got some stickers as well. Oh, that's awesome. I'm starting to put stickers on my shop door. I can't remember who I saw, if it was Peg or someone had all the stickers that are given to them and they put them on the inside of their shop door. So I've started doing that. So I'll put those on there, but thank you so much, Jesus. Oh man. Awesome stuff. I hope this isn't too boring watching me open up my mail. I promise I will get working on trucks. I mean, I haven't done much so far today. All I did was clean the shop and watch Blake work. Oh, this is from Troy in Tama, Wisconsin. What do we got here? You take off and put on brake shoes and thought you might like this. Cheers from Wisconsin. Oh, that's awesome. TWR Truck, Trailer, and Tire Repair. So go check those guys out if you're ever in Wisconsin and you need some help. Let's see how this works. All right, I'm gonna have to figure this out. It must be for stretching the springs. Would it be for the side springs? Yeah, I'll have to play with this next time. I got to do the brakes on the Duke, so that'll be the next opportunity to give this a go. But I will definitely figure out how to use this, and I really appreciate that, Troy. Thank you so much. I got Roger from Tennessee. Oh, sent me a Tennessee plate. I love it. Tennessee is a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm getting quite a collection of license plates. I'm gonna have to start setting them up on a wall somewhere. And then I got something from old plates from Nicholas in South Carolina. Oh, nice. Look at that. 1985, 1984. Oh, look at that. Some stickers. Oh, these are awesome. So if you're a fan of the channel and you watch the episodes, you know where I'm going to use these. Oh, this is sweet. So the doors, the access doors on the Duke, I got some new doors from my friend Carmen in New Jersey, and he actually gave me his stainless steel covered doors, and they have a whole bunch of stickers on there, but some of them are faded, so I'm going to be able to replace them with some of these, so that is perfect. Really appreciate that, Nicholas. This is from George. When I got out of high school in '85, I worked for Peterbilt. These key rings came with all the new trucks. I hope you enjoy it. Oh, look at that, a nice new Peterbilt ring. Well, I know where that's going. This one doesn't have it, just says Amazon. The California car duster. Oh, there's a big one and a little one. That is awesome. Who sent me this? That's actually really going to come in handy, because I wanted to do a little bit of cleaning work on the inside of Snowman today. Yeah, there's no name on it. Well, thank you, whoever sent me this. We're going to give her a go and see if we can't get all that dust, because I left one of the windows open in Snowman and in LBL when I was doing body work. So I could really use this to clean that up, and there's a little one as well. So we'll try that out later and see how well that works. And Kyle from New York, Seneca Falls, New York, sent me something. Hey Mark, here's a chrome husky dog and a Model 361 badge from a Brockway truck, along with a couple of stickers. The chrome dog is pre-62, the gold started in 62, the 50th anniversary until 77 when they closed the doors. Wow, hope you enjoy something like this for your collection. Thanks for all that you do, Kyle. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Yeah, Brockways are so cool. Oh, look at that, 361. They, you don't really see them in, oh, that is awesome. A Brockway dog. Man, that's nice. I'm gonna have to probably screw it down so it doesn't tip over, but look at that. Yeah, you don't see Brockways in Western Canada. At least I never have. You're not even in the shows. You don't see them at the wreckers. I think they were very common. They were obviously a company in the 60s and 70s. They were very common in the Northeast US. You see a lot of them. And the dog was their kind of hood ornament. Just like the bear was on the Hayes trucks that were built outside of Vancouver. But that is really, really nice and generous of you, Kyle. Thank you for that, because that is that's a rare piece. I've never even seen one. So with that, I can't believe how generous all you wonderful fans out there are. It's really, like I say, greatly appreciated. And then, not only are the fans generous, the sponsors are generous too. That is stout. Okay, so blue tea, I guess? Blue tie? I don't know. Don't know how to say it correctly. But these guys reached out to me and they said, hey, would you be interested in, now where did I put my knife? My nice clean bench is now cluttered again. They asked, they said, would you be interested in a remote power unit? And I said, absolutely, because we do a lot of remote backwoods camping, and we even camp in campgrounds that don't have power. A lot of them in British Columbia, they're campsites that don't have the full hookups. So you're living off of your battery. It's a box inside a box, okay. 2,000 watt hour power station. And I'm really excited to try this out. So what I was thinking, obviously this will help when we're camping in the backwoods. Then, for those of you that, oh, that's stout. For those of you that are fans of the channel, you'll know that every year I go to the Lesco Truck Show in just outside of Edmonton, Alberta in September. And this year I'm going to be there with Smokey and the Bandit truck. So what I was thinking of doing is, because there's no power where all the trucks are parked, I wanted to have a drive-in movie of Smokey and the Bandit after the show in the evening. So I could invite anyone who wants to come over, have a Coors beer, and watch the show on the side of the trailer. So this thing will be perfect for that. It's like Christmas morning here at the garage. There's stuff everywhere. Oh wow, look at that. That is neat. So that's the input. Okay, so that's the charging. And then there's DC output. There must be some goodies in here. Yeah, I'll probably have to wait till dark and then I'll give her a try. Oh, a cigarette lighter so you can charge it up. There's a whole bunch of cables there. So there's USB, 5 volt, 3 amps. Oh, PD must be like USB-C. Oh, that's nice. Oh, and there's the AC outputs. Look at that. So what I was thinking is I picked up a projector and a little DVD player and a Bluetooth speaker, and I'm just going to project the movie right onto the side of the trailer. So I hope that works. Oh, that is cool. So it's 59% right now. That is a cool touchscreen. I want to plug this thing in. I'd actually be curious. I really am curious how long this lasts. I mean, it's very big and stout. Oh, there's even wireless charging on the top for your phone. Look at that. That is a cool little unit. I was wondering how much power this thing actually puts out. So a guy should almost plug in a grinder or something. Yeah, why don't we do that? Because this would also be handy for when I go rescuing old trucks. How does that work? AC output on. There we go. Oh, look at that! Man, have the batteries ever come a long way? That is awesome. All right. Yeah, if it powers a grinder, it's definitely going to power a projector. Now, supposedly I could plug this thing in even to my camper and power up my camper as well. So thanks, Blue Tea. That is a really nice sponsorship. I really appreciate you sending me this. We're going to give it a try. We're going to see if we can't watch a movie with it. Was one more thing I needed to look at. So this is from Jeremy in Kansas. He was the generous fan that sent me. He said, "Oh, I see you're missing," because when I pulled the Duke out of that field, well, not really out of the field, but when I got it from Steven's place, it only had one fuel tank. Someone had stolen the other one. So Jeremy had reached out and said, "Yeah, I've got some extra fuel tanks. I'll send them your way." So he actually sent them and paid for it and shipped them all the way to my house there last year? Maybe it was 2 years ago. And those tanks are actually sitting out back, and we're going to get them polished up and put on the Duke. So that was really nice of him. And then Jeremy reached out again and said, "Hey, I was watching your video when I was playing with the Jake brakes there. And of course the Speedo and the TAC, neither of them were working." And he goes, "I just converted my Kenworth to electronic gauges. So I've got the old cables. Are you interested in them?" I said, "Absolutely." So Jeremy didn't even blink, and he sent them down to me. So this is another thing that I actually want to set up today and mount. Better turn that off. Okay. Oh, sweet. And the reason I haven't been able to, oh, look at that, he even sent me, oh, Jeremy, you are a king among men. Oh, that is nice. So I actually, it's even got the box. I don't know if I need that or not on the transmission, but he sent it anyway. So these are old school cables. So there's a little gear down in the transmission, that spins the cable and spins the internals, spins this little square deal here. Like, this was old school speedometer cables on snowmobiles and vehicles back in the 70s. And there was a guy in Edmonton here that was making them. He would custom make them. For the tack on the Peterbilt here, I needed to get one made up, so I went to Traction and they made them there. So I went back to say, hey, I need 2 cables for my snowman truck, and they said, oh, the guy that made those actually retired, so he no longer makes them. And I can't find anyone out there in the local area that makes them, so I really appreciate you sending me these, Jeremy. This is gonna be perfect. So I assume the short one's for the tack. This just goes right off the pickup down on the fuel pump, and then it goes right up to the gauge. And so when the fuel pump's turning that little gear, it turns this internal deal, and it turns the gauge at whatever speed, and it tells you how fast the motor's turning. And then same thing for going down the road. Yeah, the folks out there, incredibly generous. All the fans, all the sponsors. Can't say enough good things about you. Thanks again. All right, so I'm gonna plug in my Blue Eddy charger. I was actually saying the name wrong. Blue Eddy, not Blue Tea, Mark. Apologies to Blue Eddy for getting the name wrong. But I was thinking about it as well, that I wanted to charge this thing up just to make sure. I'm going to do a trial with the drive-in movie. Take Mrs. Twin Sticks out to a drive-in tonight, and I wanted to make sure it had a full charge. But I was also thinking at the truck show, this thing's going to be a real benefit because I've got my Milwaukee polisher with the Milwaukee battery, but that only lasts about 15-20 minutes of polishing. So what I could do is I get a plug-in grinder, plug that in, put a polishing wheel on it, and do any last minute touch-ups on the truck. So I think the thing's gonna be a real asset at the truck show, and I can't wait to use it there. So if you wanna check them out, go to blueeddypower.ca. They've got a whole bunch of these, different sizes, different ranges. They've even got solar panels that can charge them up while you're sitting in the, while you're in the outdoors off the grid. So a great, great tool. I can't wait to start trying it out and using it. All right, first up, I figure I get the tack working. So there's the cover on there for the mechanical drive. Now, I assume that's the side for the gauge. So I'm betting that this guy looks a little different. Would go, yeah. So it looks like it matches up. So we'll put that on there. So that's what turns. Essentially, there's a mechanical gear down there that that has the female end of that square deal. Turns that and turns the cable, which mechanically spins the tack. Of course, it got all dirty now. Get back in there. There. All right. Now, I assume that this hole here is for the tack. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Now you got to make sure this doesn't get kinked, because I know on the Pete, if it's got any kind of bend in it, it catches, and then as it's idling you hear a tick, tick, and you see the tack needle bounce. So I'll try and get this as smooth of an arc as possible, and we'll go connect it up to the gauge inside. Should almost have the tack on the other side, because then it would be a straight shot. Now we'll see if we can rig this up. Yeah, I might swap that over. Now we'll see if this works. Okay. Okay. Just gotta do a little bit of troubleshooting here. Oh, that's a bummer. I don't know if this is gonna work. So all the way down, I shouldn't be able to turn this because theoretically it should be engaged. I figured something was off with this one. So I don't know, maybe that's why Jeremy went to electronic tacks, because what I noticed right away with this one is even with this all the way bottomed out, you can barely see the end there. It's still recessed. So I decided to take the one off the Peterbilt just to try it. And with the gauge end pushed all the way in, you can see that little that gear is protruding there. So I bet if I put this one on, it'll work, because at least there's something to spin now. Something like that. Okay. There, you can see it I'll do is I'll leave the, old Smokey. Leave this one on there because the Pete still needs to be painted. It would be nice to have a tack to drive this truck around. So thanks for the thought, Jeremy. Well, the Speedo cable might still work. Wrong. I swapped the tack and the Speedo because I wanted the cable to have a straight shot into the gauge instead of making a bend in behind the dash there, because then of course it would probably keep clicking. So I swapped that over, and then I also wanted to see the other end of this cable. And yeah, it doesn't appear broken off. It's just a different configuration. So it's just got the same smaller square end on it. You remember the one I stole off the Pete there was a little longer and had a little tang on the side. That's what gets driven. So it's just it's not a broken or defective cable. It's just Jeremy's truck, or Jeremy must have a different engine in his, or a different pickup or a different drive. So I guess what I can do is I'll have to keep searching for a cable. I mean, the outer cable's good. I could search for an inner cable, maybe when I'm hunting around in the auto records there, maybe I could find one. So next up, I got to work on the speedometer cable. So I've taken this off of here. Now, I believe this is either a reducer or it gears it up. I don't know if you can see in there. It's actually got little gears. I'm pretty sure you can take this cover plate off and you can swap the gears out to make sure that the drive is spinning your speedometer at the correct ground speed. Because of course there's different transmissions. There's 13s, 15s, 18s, and even on the Peterbilt, this box is on my 4-speed auxiliary. So because there's so many different drive speeds that would be going into here, that's why you have this, so you can get the gauge to read correctly. Now of course, this is the gauge that Peg gave me out of his old Kenworth to match the movie, and it's in miles per hour, so it won't mean that much because of course up here in Canada all the speed limit signs are in kilometers per hour. But it'll still be cool to get it working, and we'll have to see if this truck can do 96 miles per hour. Okay, where is it? Well, there's the temperature sensor I still need to wire up. And it looks like we got a little bit of a leak here. Nothing that can't be fixed. Okay. But where is the speedo output? Come on, it's gotta be here somewhere. Oh, look at that. There's something that needs fixing. It's rubbing on the... that would have caused an air leak. Okay. That's why you should always crawl into your truck every now and then and see what's changed. Okay. Where in the heck is the speedo pickup? All right, either I'm blind or it's not there, but it has to be because there was a speedometer in this truck at one point. So let's take a look at the cabover, where I can get a better look at the transmission from above and see if I can spot it. Huh, can't see it here either. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so it's right off of the, on top. Maybe that's why I couldn't see it, because it was over top of the one of the air actuators, the solenoids. Okay, let's go take another look. Well, that's interesting. Well, how are they knowing how fast they were going? Looks like someone just put a bolt in there. All right. How odd. Did this truck never have a speedometer? It must have at one point. I wonder if it wouldn't have been an electronic pickup, would it? Yeah, that's confusing. Well, guess what I can do is take this one. That's good. That's why you need lots of trucks, folks. So you have parts. So I can take this out of here and then steal the one off the Duke for now. Huh, interesting. Now the only thing I can think of is maybe Snowman. Oh, little key fell out. What was that, Mark? That Snowman was an electronic pickup for the Speedo, which is why that was capped off. Oh, why is this being difficult? And now that I'm putting on the old, movie correct mechanical gauge, yeah, because I can't remember what I took out of there. It must have been an electronic speedometer. But theoretically, this should just bolt right in and work, I have to believe. Oh, Oh, check it out. There's just a little gear there. Huh. Okay, so I'll clean this up. Hopefully this thing fits back in there. And yeah, this guy just goes like that. And then that's where the Speedo cable, well, no, I guess that's where this guy connects in. Boy, this is complicated. Now, what are the odds that this is actually going to be the right ratio? It's probably going to be way off. But I guess theoretically, I could steal the gauge out of the Duke here, but no, that's in kilometers an hour. It would be movie correct. All right, having a parts washer is mint. Okay. Thanks again to Super Sol for getting me one of these minty parts washers. There. Good as new. I'll just go back together. Perfect. Let's go install this on the truck. Guess I'll have to put this plug back in the Duke and then start hunting around for a mechanical Speedo drive for that transmission. I'd actually like to put an 18 in the Duke if I could find one. Problem is they rebuilt 18 speeds are big money. Alrighty. If you ever wondered how a mechanical pickup on a 13 speed works, now you know. Is it a different config or something? What's going on here? Doesn't seem to want to go in and set in all the way. Let there be light. That helps a little. Let's see if we can't figure out what's going on in here. Okay. I don't see a gear drive though. Like where are the teeth that would made up? Yeah, I can actually feel, so the inside here, it's just smooth and there should be teeth in there. And as this spins around, it would turn those little gears and there's nothing there. So this is not set up to be a mechanical Speedo drive at all. Oh, bummer. Oh well, at least I got the tack working and I got plausible deniability that, sorry officer, my Speedo doesn't work. All right, while I'm back here in the dash, I figured I might as well swap out the Jake switch, the faulty Jake switch. Oh, beauty. On, off. So this is the stages. So the first stage, it would just be, when you activate the Jakes, it would just kick the exhaust valves, the solenoids on 2 cylinders. Then second stage would be 4. And then third stage, the loudest and the most stopping power, would be all 6 cylinders. So we're just gonna go ahead and leave that on 3. All right, so now, start putting the dash together. Okay, try and keep up the momentum with easy jobs. So as I was mentioning, these are just roll pins, so they should just come right out of there. Oops. If I have the right tool. There it goes. So these old trucks in the 70s and even in the early 80s, they had 3 buttons. Now a lot of the new semis obviously only have the trailer supply and then the park brakes, the yellow and the red. But some of the old tractors had tractor brakes as well. So this is tractor parking only. So you can pull to apply. This will just apply the brakes on the tractor. And then of course you got to give it a push in order to drive the tractor away. Now the only thing I can think of, and maybe the old timers out there that are watching this can correct me, but I believe what this is for is, so what you could do is you could turn the parking brake off and have it supply to your trailer, and then you could pull this, and that would leave the park brakes on the tractor so the truck wouldn't move. But then you could go, oh, watch out Fred, but then you could go back and adjust your slack adjusters on the trailer, and the truck's brakes would still be applied, so you wouldn't have to worry about the truck rolling over top of you. So I think that would be the only time that you would apply the truck brakes and not the trailer brakes. So we'll leave that. Looks like I got a little bit of black overspray on there. I wonder if I can sand that off. But essentially, these new ones are pretty easy to do. You just put the new valve on there and push in a new roll pin. Now that's interesting. This is, yeah, that's not going to work. Oh man, this is a smaller diameter. Okay, so these are old school. Oh man, I am struggling today. Some stuff just doesn't want to work. So I guess I'll run these back to Lesco and see if they've got the ones that are for the smaller diameter. I had no idea that they were different, but oh well, that's the way she goes. Put the old one back in for now. All right, let's do a check here. All right, at least I got one gauge working today. Well, let's try this too. Oh yeah. All right, so I got my shop air plumbed in and I just disconnected that. So, oh. There she goes. Alright, so while Snowman's warming up, I thought this would be a good time to install the T-Ho deadbolts. So I went and got these this door lock installation kit off of Amazon from DeWalt. And essentially what this does is it allows you to mount it to the door, and then you'll just hole saw out the 2 holes that you need. Because as you can see, there's no deadbolts in here right now, so I really wanted to add extra security in the shop. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how these T-Ho digital thumbprints work, because man, that'll be convenient. That way I can lock it every time I go for lunch or run to get parts. And then even if I forget the key code, I've always got my thumb with me. So I wonder if it works though with greasy thumbs. I guess we're gonna find out. Alright, that thing made quick work of drilling the holes. And this is a really simple install. So once you get it installed and set up, you hit any 2 buttons and it locks it. And then when you come walking back up to your shop, you simply do one of these. Oh, that's mint. Thanks for sending me these, T-Ho. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in some for your home or your shop, go check them out at tho.com. Okay, let's go hook up the Snowman trailer. Toasty today, but it's overcast from all the smoke from the forest fires, and it's a mess both in eastern Canada and western Canada. Sure could use some rain. Oh, that gauge sure likes to dance, doesn't it? I wonder if that cable's not very good. I should see, maybe there's a bend behind the dash. Oh well, it kind of tells you what the RPMs are in between the bounces. It's kind of exciting actually. This is the first time I've hooked up the Snowman trailer to the Snowman truck. I suppose it's going to be the test if I actually connected these lines up the right way. Yeah, I think red's on the right. That should work. And I'm not going to worry about lights. We're not hauling it down the road just yet. That is looking so good. Not too far off now. Just got to get those ugly tandems swapped out. Got to paint the front and the edge black. Got to paint underneath. Throw the reefer shell on there, and then get the stagecoach scene put on, and then we are ready to roll. Man, it's getting exciting. Okay, getting late in the day now. Almost evening time. I got one more thing to set up.
What the hell is this, a drive-in movie?
I say you ain't gonna go for your game. Son, from what I've heard, the biggest thing about the Bandit is his ego. And I figure that, plus a lot of my dollars, and he'll try anything, legal or not. Any guy that would paint his truck like this would go to a minister's funeral dressed in feathers. See, son? Old legends never die, they just lose weight.
And that's why
Got the legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life in it.